3 years ago, the first case of a global plant virus was recorded, and it started to ravage most of our ecosystem. Eating food infected with the virus causes severe autoimmune diseases, and the loss of plant life has decreased the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere to 10%, which has increased the number of natural disasters all over the world. The world's leading research laboratories have been unsuccessful in developing a cure, and people are starting to think the planet is doomed.
Every civilization has a flood myth, and in all of them, the Great Flood occurred 10,000 years ago. In 1936, Edgar Cayce predicted that the world would undergo a pole shift between 16 and 20 degrees, and this would happen when both Mount Etna in Italy and Mount Pelée in Martinique erupt together. When that happens, we'll have 90 days to evacuate the coastline, erupted a few months ago, and scientists at Mount Pelée say that the seismic activity there is above baseline. Now, if the poles do shift, as Edgar Cayce predicts, the world map is going to look very different. Africa will be divided into 3 parts. The Nile will widen and a brand new waterway will split the continent. As the Red Sea grows, Cairo will eventually disappear into the sea. Asia is already very seismic and will suffer the most dramatic changes. Land will be covered from the Philippines to Japan by the ocean. As the Pacific plate shifts, the islands of Japan will sink, leaving only a few small islands. Taiwan and most of Korea will be completely lost to the sea. The entire coast of China will be pushed inland hundreds of miles. The population of India will be told not to seek higher ground within the interior of the country due to buckling of the land. Instead, they will have to head to the Himalayas. The high mountains of Tibet and Nepal will provide refuge. Antarctica will no longer be covered in ice, but will once again become fertile and green. Australia will lose nearly 25% of its land due to coastal flooding. The Adelaide area will become a new sea. The Simpson and Gibson deserts will become fertile farming land. New Zealand will actually grow in size and will once again connect to mainland Australia. And New Zealand will ultimately become one of the safest areas. Europe will suffer. Most of Northern Europe will simply be gone, sunk into the sea as the tectonic plate underneath it collapses. Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark disappear, eventually becoming hundreds of small islands. Most of the UK, from Scotland to the English Channel, will disappear into the ocean, but several small islands will remain. London and Birmingham will actually survive, but not as cities, as islands. Ireland will disappear completely except for land at high elevation. Russia will be separated from Europe by an entirely new sea when the Caspian, Black, Kara, and Baltic seas combine. The new sea will stretch all the way to Siberia. Russia's climate will remain intact, leaving Russia to supply most of Europe's food. NASA has detected a slight pole shift that could be a concern.